Welcome to the Canadian Business Quarterly podcast, where we speak with Canada's most influential industry leaders on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all of our content, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.
Today's guest is Michael Yu, CEO of Vancouver residential real estate brokerage Oakwyn Realty. Michael is the young co-founder and CEO of one of Vancouver's largest and highest-selling real estate brokerages in Oakwyn Realty. In a traditionally slow-moving industry, they have sparked major change in the Vancouver real estate industry with innovative marketing and professional development programs, leading Oakwyn to sell $2.7 billion worth of real estate across BC in 2018 alone. Michael, thanks for joining us today.
Jess, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it, and I'm very grateful to be on your program.
No problem at all. Let's start from the top. Can you tell me about the origins of Oakwyn Realty?
Sure. Well, it's kind of a tragic story, but the reason why we got started in real estate is, my father got sick with cancer when I was in university, and it was a trying time for the family. So instead of furthering my education, I got a real estate license on the advice of one of my family friends, and got started in the industry, and I found that there wasn't a great education program for new realtors or young professionals in the real estate industry selling residential real estate in Vancouver. So I kind of continued the journey selling properties for a couple top firms in Vancouver for the first 7 or 8 years of my career, and then we started Oakwyn Realty in 2013, and so we've been in operations for almost 6 years now. So we started a small, plucky office and really trying to just maintain a very high service standard to the buyers and sellers in the marketplace, and also a high service standard to realtors to help them with the professional development and the marketing, and it just took off, and here we are 5.5 years later. With 315 agents, and it's just been a fantastic journey so far.
Okay. And to be founded in 2013 and now be a top 5 real estate broker in the Vancouver area is pretty exceptional. What have you guys done that's made you different from competitors?
Well, I think in Vancouver, I think it's very, very important because it is an emerging global market. And in this market, it was very, very important to have a really aesthetically pleasing brand. And I feel like a lot of the brands that were available in real estate were just not, we're just not cutting it in a sense of being sophisticated. And I think that was a big reason for our growth. We have a beautiful brand, Oakwyn Realty. We've really prided ourselves on creating a really solid brand and a really solid core value system. Obviously there's a lot of people that have different opinions about realtors and that they're maybe kind of, sharky people. But, here in our office, we're a community, we're very collaborative, and we're bringing a different approach to a traditional real estate brokerage. So we're just, so I think that's been a really part of the growth. And it has been very organic, primarily through word of mouth, but also through our digital marketing programs. So we've just been happy to see such a good first 5 years.
Okay. You were an employee of Remax before deciding to start up Oakwyn Realty as an entrepreneur. What real estate and business lessons were you able to take with you, and what have you learned now that you're the one running the show?
Well, obviously I learned a lot of organizational structure from Remax. Everyone, most of the world knows what Remax is, and that's kind of the one of the predominant real estate brands in the world, and we hope that Oakwyn will be there, along the same lines fairly soon. So the things I learned over there, for the most part, were a lot of what to do and a lot of what not to do. So I I feel like the organizational programs are great. The educational programs were okay, and I think the model that they built their business on, the franchise model, and kind of with a fee-based structure to their agents, I think was very revolutionary for our industry when they first got started, and kind of we use that as kind of a launch pad for ourselves, and just to make some changes off of their great model, and so I've learned quite a bit from Remax from that perspective.
Okay. And what about now running the show for yourself? What sort of hurdles and lessons have you taken away from that?
Well, it's just been an absolute joy. There's some philosophies that, when expectations are lower than what reality is, you're just a happy person. And I feel like we've, done a lot with our brand, and the lessons I learned for the most part is just to treat people extraordinarily well, and be very, very high integrity. So I'm a very, very big proponent of sticking to your word and your values. So we have a very strong core value system here at our company that we put on all the walls of all of our offices, and they're vitally important to our success. And we always look to the core values when we make any decisions. So, whether it's expansion or working with an individual or working on something, we always look at those values that the company stand by, and really seek guidance there, and it's worked really well. So it has been a joy from a struggle perspective. There has been quite a bit of copycats, let's put it that way, in our industry. As soon as we started jumping onto the scene, there's a lot of other independent brokerages locally that are starting to open, which is kind of a great form of flattery. But we feel, with our leadership team that we have here, that we'll be able to continue to innovate and continue to grow our company.
And you guys really do business quite differently. You have a much younger staff presence than the industry average. What's the reason behind this?
Well, it's very intentional. So, just in Vancouver, the industry average age for a real estate agent in Greater Vancouver is above 50. So there wasn't really, and our average age in our office is early 30s. So there wasn't really a home for a young professional that is craving professional development, is craving great service, and is craving an amazing brand to be able to work under. And so, we really found that as a niche in our marketplace, and we are really dominating in a lot of the younger markets, like downtown Vancouver and a lot of kind of the hip and trendy areas. So yeah, I think we really found that niche, and we're very intentional about that. I spend a lot of time researching. So before and after work every day, I'll spend 1 or 2 hours just looking at our markets, looking at what our competitors are doing, look at what people in other global markets are doing, any other businesses, even other businesses from fashion to film to technology. I kind of look at all the different industries and see what companies are doing, and how we can implement and apply those to our real estate industry in Vancouver and to Oakwyn for sure.
Okay. You've mentioned you focus a lot on staff development programs. What does that mean in the context of your business and in the real estate industry?
Well, it is very important that, from our perspective, we're a people business. So I know that, we're in real estate and we sell real estate, but, if we kind of boil it all down, it's a people business, and the better we can develop and prepare the people that we have in our company to be able to navigate through the rigors of starting a business, it is, it's going to is going to aid our company as well. So with their better performance, we also win. So for us, we have ongoing training in terms of experiential learning methodologies, and also one-on-one mentorship type of activities at the office as well to help young professionals to grow their acumen. And I don't think there was a real great training platform for that in the industry before. A lot of the training that your typical real estate agent gets is fairly generic, and it's not tailored and suited to their specific needs. So, for example, for every agent that comes into our office and that starts working with us, we do personality testing. We try to understand how they learn. One of the partners of my company, one of the partners of Oakwyn, is my big sister. Her name's Arlene Chiang, and she formerly was in education. And so, that's really important for us that we continue to educate our staff and our agents and just create better human beings.
And for people listening in other parts of the country, can you give us an overview of what's taking place in the Vancouver real estate market?
Yeah. So Vancouver, we probably talk about two things more than anything else. It would be real estate and rain. A lot of rain in Vancouver. But there's so it's a hotbed topic here in the city, from needs in rental home housing and kind of affordability issues for locals. So the temperature right now, at this stage, we've just gone through like an absolute skyrocket of prices and activity over the last 3 or 4 years, and now we're seeing a decline in the marketplaces, primarily due to interest rates increasing, the mortgage rates increasing, and also a lot of policies by our government bodies in BC. So we just changed from a Liberal government to an NDP government, and the NDP government has put in a lot of rules and regulations for foreign investment, vacant home taxes, speculation taxes, a lot of different other types of taxation that has made a lot of foreign investors a little bit more weary of getting into our marketplace. So, yeah, kind of globally, Vancouver's known as one of the, obviously, consistently voted one of the most livable cities in the world, one or two, and immigration policies are a lot more lax than a lot of the Norwegian countries that are given the same ratings. So, I think that attracted a huge amount of immigration, and I come from immigrants as well. My parents came here from the Philippines in the 70s because of the same things, because Vancouver's a beautiful, livable city, and and great environment, and a great place to raise a family, and a great place to live for all of the Asia Pacific countries, but also all over the world. Yeah.
So before we finish for today, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss or mention?
Well, I love, it's really strange. So for those of you that are out there that are listening that, never thought that you'd get into business, and I really never thought I was going to get into a business role or even in a real estate role as well. It's a joy, it's a challenge, and it's, you get to use the best of your mind and tactics and strategy just to really create something new and different. And for any of those young people that are out there, I really encourage you to look at entrepreneurship and look at business as a very interesting and fun endeavor to do. And I just encourage people to go for it. And the risks that we're taking today, 10 years from now, when we look back, are going to be pretty minuscule, pretty minor. So I just encourage people. I remember in university I used to stress out about a test or something like that, and I think about it now 10, 15 years later, I'm like, that was dumb. So I think it's going to be kind of the same thing when I look back at now we're expanding our company through franchising and through different technologies and things like that, and I'm kind of worried about how it's going to play out. But I think probably 10 years from now, when we're dominating the Canadian market, and then maybe I'll think differently. So, I think that just putting things into perspective, and it's just, whatever you're going to do, just to have a lot of passion in what you do, and to just try to bring the best of yourself every day.
Well, Michael, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Jess. I appreciate it very much, and very grateful to be a part of the program. And you guys are doing really great work, and I'm so glad that people are starting businesses and doing really well in Canada, because I love this country, and we're just so happy to have people, and we're so blessed to have people like you that are encouraging business and job creation and all the good stuff there. So thank you, Jess.
This has been a production of the Canadian Business Quarterly, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Canadian Business Quarterly, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.